forget to do the little ordinary things that everyone ought to do. I'm living in a kind of daydream.
Our ceremonial first pitch tonight will be thrown out by none other than Mr. John Pollock, who was a catcher at this game some 50 years ago.
John Joseph Pollock, the first string catcher of the 1941 Jamestown Baseball Club, was born in Scranton, Pennsylvania, April 2nd, 1918. Johnny was always a receiver since his school days at Tech High in Scranton, Pennsylvania, from which he was graduated with the class of 1937. Johnny later played with the St. Michael's Church team in his hometown, and in 1938 went to Smethport, Pennsylvania to accept a job in the filtering department of the Quaker State Oil Company. He also played baseball at Smethport with the refinery team. And the first Jamestown Falcons game in the Pony League in 1939 was caught by John Pollock. Jamestown won that game 9-4, beating Batavia. This was the beginning of 60-plus years in the Pony, now the New York Penn League.
A scout working for the Buffalo Bisons at that time was always went to these industrial league, and when they were starting a team here in Jamestown, they were looking for a catcher, so they came down and wanted to know if I wanted to play, and it was just like, asked me if I wanted to go to the truth of my mouth. I said yes. So that's how I got to come up here.
How much they paid, John?
I'll tell you what they're paying me. They paid me more than money that the Major League ball players are getting for lunch money than I made in salary. They were getting $75 a day for meal money. I made $60 a month.
And the next position was John Pollock, catcher. Did you play with him all year long?
No, I didn't play with him.
The starting catcher for the 1941 season, and that would be the first season at the stadium. Johnny at the time weighed 170 pounds, batted and threw right-handed, and was 5 foot 11 inches tall. The box score for the first game at the stadium, again against Batavia, unfortunately the score was 9-2 in favor of the opposing team. Day 1941 at this ballpark where you're in right now. They had a big crowd that day, didn't they?
Over 5,000.
Do you remember much about that opening day, the festivities
yes,
and stuff?
I had a big day.
Did you really?
I had
3 for 4.
Uh-huh.
And you're right.
I had a single, double, and a triple.
And I know I was here.
I had, I won all the prizes. A lot of fond memories in this ballpark.
Yes, yes.
In fact, they used to call it the nickel and dime ballpark. The kids used to check, go to school and bring a nickel and dime and put it in the kitty for the ballpark. That's how they, when they built the stadium. Okay. And the man behind that thing was Judge Barton.
Oh yeah, a big baseball fan. Yeah, I remember him.
And only great.
Was he? Players manager, did he?
He was a players manager, and Greg believed in one thing. You do as I say, and you'll never get in trouble. I can remember the time we lost about 5 games in a row.
Ooh.
And Greg was getting all kinds of telephone calls from people. They seen somebody here at 1 o'clock in the morning. It's what do you think? So Greg called us all out in center field before the ball game. He gets in the middle, he said, I don't know what's going on, fellas, but it's got to stop. He said, I get a call 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. They see you out here, they see this guy out there, and we're not winning. So it's got to stop. From that time on, we won about 18 ball games in a row.
Yeah, you have rarely lost, I know that.
And he was a real fine gentleman.
He was a player manager, wasn't he?
That's right, played second base.
Second base?
Mm-hmm.
Remember that whistle of his?
Yep. Still whistle when he was coaching Detroit,
Is that right?
the Dodgers.
So can you do the whistle?
No,
Yeah, that's right.
How'd it go again?
You could hear it all.
What's your thoughts about Jake Pitler?
He was an actor, really, but
He came here the first show.
yeah, I'm telling you, I'll never forget the time. He always carried a dozen baseballs alongside him in the dugout, alongside the dugout. And I hit a home run here one day, and he got a hold of that baseball. He said, "Oh my God, he didn't." He threw the baseballs in the air. He said, "Impossible." But he was a fine gentleman.
What about your first baseman, Frankie Heller?
Good ball player. Frankie was a good ball player. One of the reasons about Frankie, he had a mean disposition for me.
Oh, did he?
Oh, Frank, I'll never forget the time he was on first base, and he always had a big chew of tobacco in his mouth, all the time. And Frankie wasn't paying attention at all where the ball had hit him in the stomach, he swallowed it. Oh. We thought he was going to die. My choice, I would say Earl Rapp.
I loved him. I thought he was great, yeah.
Why?
Why? Because he had a potential. He was a great runner, a good hitter, and he could play the field. Mm-hmm. I bet you're thinking, well, maybe Johnny moved. No, Johnny couldn't. He hit a lot of home runs, but he let a lot of bases.
That's right. Yeah.
A lot of runs landed because he couldn't feel the ball. That's right. But I mean, as a hitter, he was a great one.
Oh, sure.
But Earl Rapp is be my types. He was a gentleman. We used to hang out with the humidor.
Yeah, I know that. Yep, that's as kids used to go get autographs.
Yeah. And Harry would come up and he'd see him with an old shirt on, He'd say, "Well, how come you got that?" And he said, "I haven't got anything else, Harry. Come with me." He took me down to Big Rose, bought everybody a shirt. And after every ball game when we played, if the treasurer of the ball club was a fellow working at the bank at Jamestown, I think he's dead now. Harry would send him in and he said, "Tell any kid down there who needs any money, just ask him, he'll give it to you." But he was a fine, fine gentleman, believe me. We were staying with a family man named Milks. And they moved, we moved. Really.
How many ball players were in that home?
Just Johnny and O'Neill and I.
Okay, well, you were roommates.
Yeah, Johnny and I were roommates, were in Buffalo too.
Was that right?
And John went up to the major leagues. Then with the majors, he went over to the Pacific Coast League. He played in the Coast League for about 10, 12 years.
Really?
In the 1990 Jamestown Jammers program, John Pollock was interviewed, and he said Jamestown fans were baseball mad. They'd have to delay the start of the games because of the lines. They seemed to love the players. Every day you'd get invited to a different family's home for dinner. After games, the treasurer of the club would come into the locker room and ask who wanted money for that night. He'd just take it out of our paychecks and we'd have a heck of a time. John was drafted in 1942 and served in the U.S. Army from February 2nd, 42 through November 1945. He was discharged as a sergeant, and during his time of service was awarded the Good Conduct Medal and the Purple Heart. While serving in the 36th Division, he was wounded and spent time in Naples Hospital. However, while there in the hospital, baseball was always on his mind as he organized a baseball team and was named the athletics director at the hospital. Before the invasion of Italy, while the 36 was in Africa, he caught for the Army-Navy All-Stars and was named the most valuable player in the North American Theater of Operations.
Do you have any regrets going your baseball route then?
No, I'll never regret it. I loved every minute of it.